today I want to share with you an incredible new SEO business opportunity I've discovered that anyone can implement. Apologies about this lighting at the moment. That's rather annoying. The full Jesus effect should be down here, but the shadows moved. This is all because I'm preparing for Affiliate Gathering in York on the 10th of May, where I'll be headlining on the main stage. There are still a few tickets available, I believe, so I'll leave a link below and you can come along. It'd be great to meet some of you in person. Now, the focus of my talk is not only about growing with SEO, but future-proofing. How can you build a more AI-resistant business? Because those of us in the industry, not only of us have been building these SEO-based websites and getting slapped, whether it's affiliate or banner ads. There's also that overarching question of just how long is the SEO business model going to be valid, and how can we safeguard against that, maximize upside risk in the short term and protect against the downside risk in the long term. Now, a lot of that comes down to kind of traditional niche selection, but also just you build the whole system in the first place. So rather than relying on this old model of I'm going to blog and basically do traffic arbitrage where I get traffic from Google and send it to banner ads through a Zoic or to affiliate products with Amazon and hope that I just don't get cut out along the way. And that's worked very well for a long time, but it is a business that's reliant on a very specific set of market conditions. So basically, how can we build more of a proper bricks and mortar business that is still largely hands-off, still using the evergreen effect of SEO where you build it once and leave it to grow, but we can take all these other traffic sources, Facebook, YouTube, paid ads, even other affiliates who are still doing blogging, where instead of sending the leads to someone else, you get the leads and you can fulfill them with an A-player team. That's much less likely to be replaced because this isn't just about traffic. This is about product and operations. So A-player staff with solid SOPs. So the way I really see this going and how I'm trying to pivot my own business is basically this graph. I drew this from scratch in kind of a brainstorm moment, but it has been on my mind for a long time, that basically the easy make money online tricks of affiliate ads, drop shipping, all of those, everyone does it and they seem easy, but because everyone does it, it gets very competitive. Whereas if I'm just out driving and looking at business vehicles or business warehouses, things I pass, you suddenly start to pick up on all these different kinds of businesses where I'm not talking about the really hard stuff where a small business can possibly compete. So we're not talking about airlines, railways, oil, manufacturing. Those are just some examples. But I'm a big believer that just above the affiliate ads and dropshipping level, there's this niche which is not super hard, but it's significantly harder than affiliate ads and dropshipping. But because of that, competition is much lower and the overall profitable opportunity is much bigger. So I've thrown in some examples here of consulting as an obvious one, but bricklaying, cleaning, you'll see my AI local SEO case study is a local cleaning business, equipment hire, and just generally specialists in certain niches. Now, quite often, a lot of the businesses that reach out to me and become clients are within this kind of space. And every time it's really inspiring. Obviously, I'm not going to compete with my own clients, but the fact is Google is really going after affiliates and ads, sites that don't really have much value, that are just doing this traffic arbitrage basically. But Google has got nothing against local businesses or even national businesses that perform a specific function. Same thing with e-commerce brands. Now with e-commerce, we generally talk about you've got a source of products, you've got all this logistical situation. Of course, there is still the dropshipping option, but again, that has its own set of strengths and weaknesses. So I don't really think of this so much as e-commerce, so much as services. So I'll give you the full talk in York, but if you can't make York, if you're around the world, then I expect I probably will end up sharing this in my private mastermind. I'll leave a link below. Plus, I believe you can actually purchase the digital recordings from Affiliate Gathering. But let me just give you a little preview of a trick I'm trying at the moment, and that's using Ahrefs. So generally, if you're trying to do affiliate marketing, if you're building a website, building a blog, you just want to rank for the best of everything. And that worked really well a couple of years ago. Then people started saying you need a mix of commercial content that's best and review keywords or X versus Y keywords, but you also need lots of info content, 80-70% info content, so Google doesn't think you're spammy. Now, for a long time, I didn't believe that because a blog I sold was entirely best and review keywords, and yet that was still ranking very well. But that only carried on for another year or so, and then it dropped sharply. But equally, a lot of these well-optimized ratio sites that were doing info content and affiliate content, or even just info content, were also hit with the wave of helpful content updates. So that's how we've ended up with this gray area now where Google doesn't seem to like its content creators anymore. So what I'm doing is this approach of how can I get a bit more bricks and mortar? So my trick for you today is actually just to go into Ahrefs and instead of putting best your niche, just put in higher. And I would also go for a location. So I'm just going to go for Hire London. So now I can just go through here and get ideas of the kinds of bricks and mortar businesses where the great thing about Hire is it's basically about using assets. So you can pay once for either $1,000 product or a $10,000 product or even $100,000 product, depending on your budget, pay to store it, insure it, all of that. But then you just hire it out. And it's one of these beautiful businesses that's always going to work because people aren't going to want to spend that kind of money for a one-off purchase that they only need once. So some surprising ones here. 7-seater car hire London. I mean, I've got a 7-seater car. I should get on that one. But what you often find with these is they are not that competitive. So in this case, of course, it's car hire. We've still got the enterprises and all of those. We do have a DR of 22 down here, Kendall Cars, and they're getting 175 visitors per month. So not bad at all. But car hire wasn't really what I was looking to compete on. I'm thinking much more specific. So carpet cleaner hire. So I know from my research into potentially starting a cleaning business that the specialist equipment like carpet cleaning equipment can cost thousands of dollars. So let's have a look at the search result and work out, are people actually searching for the machine or are they actually searching for the person to actually use the machine? So it does seem to be the actual machine, which is a good thing. Now it is fairly competitive, 50, 57, 50, but then down here, best at hire.co.uk, domain rating of just 20. And yet they're getting around 2,000 visitors per month. Then we've got Smith Hire, DR of just 33. And they're still getting 32 visitors per month. They're still on page 1. But loads of inspiration here you wouldn't jump to in a hurry. So studio hire, I presume for photography, maybe slightly more dubious photography as well. I don't know. Cherry picker hire, obviously much higher ticket, but that's a really good one. Lots of vehicle searches. Again, I don't really like the vehicle ones. Speaker hire, that could potentially work. So 200 searches per month. So you're buying speakers there. Chances are you will need to be a speaker expert. So there's a big upsell potential there, where not only are you offering just the equipment, but you've also basically got to tell them that, this will require, obviously you need this all set up for you, so we can provide you with sound engineers who will make sure that it's all set up for you. This is slightly different. We're getting more into the contractors and services niche here, but hire live-in housekeeper in London, 150 searches per month. So that's always another option. You might not be loaning out physical equipment, but you can basically run an agency where you have staff underneath you. London skip hire, that was literally a moment where I thought, as I was driving back, seeing these skip hire lorries coming past. Now I suspect that's a much bigger kettle of fish, probably certain requirements for disposal and the operations, who you actually hire. Plus you've got to find a way to store a load of skips, but definitely worth exploring. Here's a good one, Rodeo Bull Hire London. So that'll be the ride on top rodeo bulls. So this is more like it at number 1. They've got the exact match domain, rodeobullhire.uk.com, DR of 9, 591 visitors per month. We've even got a DR0 here, rodeohire.com, DR0, 300 visitors per month. And there's variations on that same keyword, so bucking bronco hire. So how much does it cost to actually buy one of these? Buy Rodeo Bull, that looks like it. So you can actually get it from AliExpress for £4,000. Is there more of a UK distributor? JB Inflatables, price upon request. Here we go. So I found an actual manufacturer now based in the UK. So we saw the Alibaba one, but let's find another one just to make sure we're absolutely legit. So down here, examples of previous ones. And there's a deluxe here, deluxe rodeo multi-ride, and that's £8,795. So with this kind of business, I'd expect to pay up to 10 grand or so. Now let's look at the ROI. I'm guessing £400 or so to actually hire one of these. Let's see if we can just get a quick answer of hire bucking bronco cost. So yeah, this one says 2 hours of hire for £200. Extra hours are charged at £75 per hour. No one's going to for just 2 hours. So I'm guessing at least £400. And now I know you might think of this for parties and things like that, but I'm expecting this to be much more for corporate events. So you'll probably find it's one of these 80-20 things where you get a high roll a corporate event, and that's where you make several thousand, rather than going to every children's party and making a couple of £100 there. Here they're also upselling a marquee hire. So that might be something you want to consider. Marquees do get very expensive for hiring. So this is basically where you can turn one hire package for an event into a whole set of other services. Okay, I just got distracted with adult only attachments. I did not realize you could change the bucking bronco to all different kinds of bull substitutes. Oh wow, and they actually charge an extra £25 per hire period for the attachment. So if you just look at the opportunity, Ahrefs estimates, especially these low levels, tend to be big underestimates. So this says 62 visitors per month. It's probably more like 100, 150, but let's go with the 62 for now to be conservative. So let's say we close maybe 6 of those per month. So that's 6 times. Now I'm expecting £400 to be the minimum hire in this kind of case. So let's go for 600 to get more of a sort of conservative average. So that's 3,600. So if it costs you 10 grand to get the actual asset, then you should make your money back in less than 3 months. Of course, there's loads of extra costs on top of that in terms of you actually got to fulfill it. So I'm not sure if it's a case of arranging a courier or whether you have a van, hire a van, or partner up with a friend who's got a van. But this is just one very small example from that list. But the real hack I wanted to show you is actually this new feature from Ahrefs. So for a while now, Ahrefs has let you upload a batch of keywords and filter by lowest DR, which basically says, it basically uses my process that if there's a site with a similar DR to yours or a low DR generally, then that's a very good indicator of how competitive it actually is. You could ignore keyword difficulty because that's not particularly reliable, but if there's a DR of 10 ranking in the top 10, then there's a good chance you can rank there as well. It does not take much to get a site up to a DR of 10. But what's new is you can add this filter to a competitor report. So basically you can find a competitor in the same niche, put them into Site Explorer, and then go onto their top keywords as I've done here, and then filter by lowest DR. So I do this loads, but previously it was a very manual process where we'd have to basically copy all these keywords and then put them into the Keywords Explorer and then filter by DR. Now we can do it all in one go, which means less credits usage and therefore lower costs, as well as saving time. So a whole load of keywords here. So we've seen some of these high keywords have literally got DRs below 5 or 10 in the top 5. So let's just do up to 5 in the top 5. And now we can show results. Here's one I'd never expect. Lawn aerator hire, 2,500 searches per month. They're at position 13. Log splitter hire. We're being inundated with all the local tool hire searches. So let's put in a filter that's keyword doesn't contain tool. And then I know the pieces fit. We now have keywords that are not those local tool searches. So we've got post rammer hire, log splitter, lawnmower hire, wall sander. Now, some of these I wouldn't say are the biggest opportunity when you might have 100, 200 searches per month, but if that's nationwide, you've somehow got to get the tool there, then that's going to be a bit difficult. I think most of these individual tools, you're probably best off just doing general tool hire in your local area, ranking for those terms we saw, and then basically have a yard full of all these different popular tools, like all these different lawn machinery. So in this case, for me in London, again, I'm just going to put in a filter that the keyword does contain London. Now, let's not forget, best@hire.co.uk is only a DR20 or so anyway. So I already had a good idea that everything it ranked for would be low competition, but now we're put up to DR of 5 in top 5. We know these are extremely low competition. So floor sander hire, genie lift hire, platform hire, concrete mixer, even ladder hire. So looks like this is actually a tool hire specialist. We're not seeing of those interesting ones like rodeo bulls and photo booths, but tools is a perfectly good one. But meantime, I just wanted to show you about this lowest DR feature on the actual Site Explorer. So let's go back to our original search. We'll do the same again. DR of 5 in the top 5. Mixologist hire London, that's a good one. You can just get a few mixologists together and function as an agency. Chocolate fountain hire London. Bodyguards, that's cool. So you get the idea. There are loads of products out there where the standard hire cost might be between £300 to £800, and yet you can buy the actual asset, the actual thing, for less than £10,000. You've just got to sort the storage, transport, and insurance. Now, those aren't small things, of course, but they'll get easier over time. That's a large part of my talk. I borrowed a slide from Alex Hormozi, who talks about you start a business with uninformed optimism, then you hit all the snags and go into informed pessimism, go into the crisis of meaning and can crash and burn in the valley of despair, or you can work through it, work out the kinks, and then you go into informed optimism, then through to achievement. If I just skip ahead a bit, I'm also talking about Gall's law, which is basically complex systems have to develop from simple systems. So if we take this fundamental idea of we're going to buy a buckaroo bull for 10 grand and hire it out for £500, we need to sort out the hiring system, the logistics, staffing. But once you've actually got through that and completed all that, you have a massive margin over your competitors and you'll be able to operate much more efficiently. So you'll be able to have more bulls for hire. You may well have some marquees and other party props to throw in as part of the package. Your logistics in terms of drivers and vans will be much simpler, and you'll be able to operate efficiently at scale, which means anyone else is not going to be able to overtake you without having to go through all those same trials and tribulations. So if you do all that with a load of cutting edge SEO, paid ads and marketing, then I think it's very likely you'll have a strong business for years to come, because AI is not going to take away your rodeo bull.